So yeah, so this is just a quick reaction review, non-spoiler review of Irishman, and of course I'll actually go into much more detail in my full spoiler review, which I'll probably do maybe tomorrow or afterwards. So just got done watching Irishman, and De Niro and Scorsese should never have broken up. With all due respect to DiCaprio, all due respect, DiCaprio is a talented actor. There was no reason for De Niro and Scorsese to stop working ever. And I get why it happened because De Niro was older. He wasn't as marketable when we now came into the 2000s. Because I think the last thing they did was Casino 95. So like I got it. I understood. So obviously DiCaprio could greenlight a film just by his name based off Titanic. And so I got that. But I think when he just because they said this when they were making Goodfellas shorthand, because remember when I used to do acting, there was a guy that I used to work with, and because we're such good friends and because we knew each other, we had a shorthand when we worked with, and Scorsese would say that I don't need to say too much. De Niro already knows what I want from him with just like a look or just two words or everything. He ain't gonna get that from DiCaprio because Irishman is literally it's like the Scorsese De Niro partnership to the nth degree. Like almost everything that they learned from Mean Streets, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Flipping Casino, Goodfellas, everything they learned from those films was put all into this film to the nth degree. Because people have criticized De Niro like he's been up and down, he's not really been that great, he's lost his touch. De Niro gives an absolutely incredible performance. His acting in this is superb. Superb. Just the nuances of his acting is superb. And I say to myself, okay, why couldn't De Niro always do this like in his other films? Scorsese. Because Scorsese just knows the buttons to press. Because remember, an actor feeds off what they want from the director. So, like, there's so many things I want to say because I'll probably save it for the spoiler review, but just random to it off. The acting in this is superb. Joe Pesci, my God in heaven, Joe Pesci is superb because basically after I finished watching the film, the ushers asked people, what did you think about the film? And this lady said, oh my gosh, that Joe Pesci, he was superb, he was outstanding. And remember, Joe Pesci retired from acting, and it was De Niro, who's good friends with Joe Pesci, who said, yo, Joe, let's do this. This is one last ride. One last ride. Let's do this. And then Joe Pesci's like, all right, for you, Bobby, I'll do it for you. So, Pacino was quality. Pacino was quality because I think Pacino gets criticized for all he does is shout. There are some very quiet moments he has that are just they're like two scenes he has. One scene he has with Stephen Graham's character. I can't remember what his character is called. I think it's called Pro. And a scene that he has with De Niro, which are probably two of the best scenes in the film. So the film that he has with Stephen Graham and the scene that he has with De Niro, and you'll know the scene. The scene that he has with De Niro are the two best scenes in the film. And those are two. One of the scenes is a very critical one that he has with De Niro. But I mean, just even Harvey Keitel, who was only there for a small part, he was good. So the acting was on such a high level, but I just think the script was quality by Steve Zalen and everything because it tells it's about life. It's about life, and I think when you look at those reviews where it's okay, this is about life, it's about growing old and everything. When you watch, you begin to think about your life, you begin to think about your mortality and things like that. But the star of the show here is Scorsese. It's so apt. It's so apt that he said what he said about Marvel movies and everything, and he makes a film like this. Those people who criticize Scorsese, who said, "Oh no, Scorsese, why are you being so snobbish? Why are you being like that?" When you watch what he did in The Irishman, when you just watch the filmmaking technicalities that he did, some of the I told you, it's like everything he did. Taxi Driver, Casino, Rich, almost all the elements that we've seen Scorsese do, he put them all in this. The use of music, the use of multiple characters, and how he executes comedy, how he frames shots, the use of silence, transitions. And obviously, because remember, it's a combination of him and Thelma Schoonmaker, probably the greatest editor of all time. Just the way they just constructed this film, it's like it's like taking you to school of filmmaking. It's like taking you to the school of filmmaking. So it's I still need to just think more and more about the film to really give my full thoughts. But for 100%, it's a must watch. And watch it before it goes on Netflix. You need to watch this in the cinema because I think this is cinema. Because like when you just look at this film and you compare it to flipping Infinity War, which is for me, I think Infinity War is a flipping joke. You, it's insulting to try and compare Infinity War to something because this is art. This is art to the highest degree. Infinity War is a popcorn movie theme park ride, But I mean, because there are just times when I just sit in the cinema and I'll just shake my head like, this guy is a bloody amazing director, man. This dude is directing the living hell out of this film. I mean, and everyone brought the A game. Everyone brought their A game, you know? Because I remember Pacino and De Niro being in that crap film by John Avelin's Righteous Club, which was just garbage. But you could just see how, because remember, actors feed off the director. And as much as you want to congratulate the actors, which you should, I also want to congratulate the script because the script was really good. It was a really good screenplay, really, really well constructed story. A few issues here and there without going into the spoiler review, but more or less a quality screenplay. But the direction, the direction from Scorsese, the performances he got from these characters, just how real they authentically that he got from these guys was just it was amazing to watch. And I think sometimes you felt, but see, I think for me, because I am a film guy, and one of my favorite films is Lawrence of Arabia, which is like 3.5, which I think no, Lawrence of Arabia is like 4 hours long. I love long films, and I think that is what we should really get back on, and that's what we should teach these kids. Like, no, sit down. It's going to be 3.5 hours more focus, not 3.5 hours of flipping Sauron and Saruman. 3.5 hours of realness, acting, saying what's up. So yeah, man, I think no Irishman. I mean, it's. I think more the key things here that I'm sure of. Some issues with the story, how the story was executed and everything, and how things were not really explained fully too well, and how it was not too much of a big payoff of stuff. Putting that to one side, that I've got to think upon my spoiler review, the acting in this is outstanding. De Niro nomination, like this is De Niro's best performance since Casino. De Niro's performance in this film is superb. Because remember, this is his film. Like Pacino was great, Joe Pesci was great. All these guys were great, but De Niro is the life source. It's his film. It's his story, and the way that you just see him is amazing. And I almost forgot the CGI, the effects. There are a few moments where it does look iffy. But beyond that, I was like, this is actually pretty good. And you just get used. As long as you get used to it, because okay, like it's not that great, it's actually pretty good. There are only a few moments where like a few body moments here, and I'm thinking with the eyes. But I think once you get into it, you're like, oh no, this works. And because my fear was it would be jarring. It would sort of confuse me. It would sort of like mess me up. I'm like, is this? But no, man, it was money. Like the effects and everything end up being money, man. So I think it's just beyond the superb acting, and I think I was just like, De Niro's acting in this is just so good. His acting in this, his line delivery is so good. Scorsese, man, is like he backs it up. Once Scorsese now insults Marvel movies and says their theme parks and everything, and you watch this film, you can't say anything. You just can't. Because anybody who felt insulted that he called Marvel movies not cinema and said that they're theme park rides, and you watch Irishman, then you'd be like, oh, you're that dude. I'm sorry, I'll shut my mouth. I'll get us to the whole theme park ride and you won't see a peep from me. Because when you look at the directing and the filmmaking here, This is different. Marvel movies is popcorn fun. You switch your brain off. It doesn't engage you in any way whatsoever. There's nothing massive about it. It's conveyor belt stuff. Some of it is good, but it's just conveyor belts, corporate stuff. This is art in its purest form. And what scores an argument can be made. Because I believe that Scorsese's best directed film is Raging Bull. I think what he did in Raging Bull was crazy. You could argue Taxi Driver, but I think Raging Bull is arguably his greatest film because how he did those box scenes are amazing. But I need to watch this again. But from the first watch, there's a strong argument. There's a strong argument that this may be his best made film. As far as where directing goes, there's a strong argument that this could be his best made film. I mean, it's between this, Taxi Driver, and Raging Bull. But some of the stuff he does in this is just outstanding. Outstanding, man. So yeah, man, quality, just an epic.